So you would use this to take photos, all right? So I've got everything for you. Okay. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You might be missing one. Oh, that's yours?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. Great. Well, welcome. My name is Wayne Huang. Wayne Huang. And I'll be your instructor for this course this semester. You can call me Dr. Huang if you like, or you can think of other names, other more creative names. But that's my name. So today we're gonna spend some time going through the syllabus because it's important. And let's see, and we'll do a little meet and greet. Okay, let me just write down what we will do today here while you're reading the syllabus, okay? Have everyone read the syllabus thoroughly before coming to this class? Yes? Yes? All right, well, you are very diligent. But let me just quickly give you an idea what we're gonna do today. All right. All right. So like I said, my name is Wayne, and I am a research scholar in the department, and I'm also an adjunct also an adjunct assistant professor. My research field is in quantum information science. Specifically, I study the classical quantum transition. So that's what I do, and that's why I'm teaching this course. So in a little bit, I would like you to get in a circle, and each one will introduce himself or herself so that we can know you. We will be using English in this course, not because we have international students, but because English is the native tongue of science. We write papers, we write all our documents, we communicate all in English. So you need to be accustomed to that. Okay, that's why we're doing this in English. In the back, you see a little camera there. That is for, that serves many purposes, but mainly as a replay for, as a resource for, as a learning resource for you guys. Because I noticed from last semester, some students were not doing very well when I explain physics on the board. And I think it would be helpful if some of you can, when needed, you can replay the lectures on the internet, okay? And it will also be used for open course series. So just in case you're not comfortable of getting into the camera, please write me an email, let me know, and we'll make arrangements, okay? I respect your privacy. My office is 711, just upstairs, next to the restroom. So very convenient. And my Phone number is 62508-580. My email, my official email, is this. So feel free to email me if you have any requests, problems, questions, anything. All right? I check my emails multiple times through the day. All right, so let's all get in a circle. Oh, by the way, I'm sorry, one more thing. In the back is Elen Chai. Elen Chai, right? Right. So he will be our TA for this semester. So Elen, all right? So let's go all sit around a circle because we were gonna split to groups later. So it would probably be nice for you to know other people's names. All right, so we're gonna start with you gentlemen. Just tell us your name, where are you in your study? Like, I'm a sophomore, I'm a physics major, or if you are a graduate student, you can say, oh, I do research in so-and-so field. Yeah, very simple.
Okay, hello everyone, I'm Clement. You can call me Solution, that's my Chinese name. I just graduated. I study electrical engineering. So I'm currently in my gap year right now. I'm waiting for my military conscription. I won't be present on November 6th. That's our 9th lab, so it's just something to keep in mind while we're grouping up later. Nice to meet you all.
Thank you, Clement.
Hi, my name is Xu Binghong, and I'm a graduate student with studying superconducting qubits and about quantum information part.
Cool. A first year master or second year? First year. Okay.
Hi, I'm Yogao Jun.
Okay.
And I'm graduate student too, and first year.
Okay. Master? Master or PhD?
Master.
Okay.
Yes, and our lab is focused on superconducting qubit.
You're from the same lab?
Yep.
Okay, I see.
Hello, I'm Malin. I'm a first year graduate student, exchange.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's in physics.
Nice. What do you study?
Now,
Yeah, like what's your research field?
I don't know if I can answer that really because our system is different in Sweden.
I see.
I don't really have a research field, but my bachelor was in environment, like climate change problems.
Oh,
Yeah.
neat. Okay, thank you.
I'm here for in physics. My English ability is difficult, so maybe I need more time to understand meaning for
Okay.
My name
I'm sorry. You are fourth year, you're like senior in college, right?
Yes.
Okay.
my name is Peng Shu Han. You can call me Han. And I'm also senior for physics department.
Okay, great.
Oh, and I am Liang Zhu Ting.
Yes.
Can I do this? Okay. And this is my first year in the graduate school. And the lab that I joined is mainly focused on complex system.
Like condensed matter.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. All right. So since we all give our names, can we all write them down on the board? But I noticed that a lot of people just give their Chinese name or a translation of their Chinese name. I understand that this is probably what you're used to, but in this course, I wonder if I could have your favor and use English name, like real English name. So not a translation. So if you don't have an English name, that's okay. But if you do, or if you have ever been given one, some point in your life, you can use that now, all right? Could we all have everyone write down their name here? Just grab a pen and write down your name so we know how to spell them.
We write it in order?
You don't have to. Yeah. Here. Han. Okay, so guys, that's Han. So that's Marlene.
I don't have an English name.
Well, that's good enough. Yeah, it's something easy to remember. Something that has like less than 5 or 6.
Like we only have 7 people. There's little chance that it's gonna repeat.
Yeah, or you can write your last name. That's fine. What you want people to call you with, right? So I will be going with that name. So whatever you write here, when I call you later, I will be calling you Clement or Lee or Han or yeah. So whatever you prefer me to call you, please write it down here, and that's how I will address you in my email. Yes.
I'm thinking.
Oh, you're thinking. Okay. Next one, please. Clock is ticking. Could you have all the light turned on, please? She. She. So that's she. All right. That's Yao. You. You. Yo.
In Chinese is
Yo. Okay. Yo. Yo. Clement. Right?
Yeah, Clement.
Clement. She. Yo. Tin.
Yeah.
Okay. Mark, like that. Thank you very much. That's easy. All right. So I'll have everyone sit in a line. Get back to a line, please, and let's go through the syllabus. All right. So each Thursday we will meet here first, in this classroom, and we will have a theory course first. So I will explain the essential concept that you will use in this lab course. And it will be about 1.5 hour max. And then we'll move to the lab, which is on the 5th floor, okay, for the experiment. Yeah, so lecture session and lab location. I have given my name and my email. All right, so just want to let you know that a little history about this course. This course was built from a goodwill of a retired professor, because he sees the need of really experiencing quantum instead of just reading about them on textbook. So he fundraised, on his own, he fundraised about $5 million Taiwanese dollars to build this lab, to build this course. So we are all in debt to him. So course description. So there are two main track: quantum foundation and quantum control. You will explore the quantum foundation, or the basic fundamental quantum mechanics in the quantum optics lab with single photon experiments. And with quantum control, you will learn how to manipulate qubit states using NV center diamond qubits on the quantum spin lab. That's what we call it. Evaluation, it is fully on reports. We don't have any presentation or exam. It's fully on report. However, I understand that it's not possible for everyone to write good report every time. Sometimes you feel good and you have a little more time, you write nice report. Sometimes you don't. You write a sentence or nice report. So it could fluctuate. Your grade can fluctuate. For that purpose, for that reason, we have also have bonus credits, okay? Bonus credits is something that you can earn through various activities, which is on, let me see, which is on the 3rd page, okay? So on the 3rd page, at the very bottom, you see bonus credits, and it describes various ways you can earn bonus credits. I encourage you to take advantage of that, okay? Because that's the minimum bonus credit is 1 point toward your final grade. So that's a lot, yeah? So there are ample of opportunities to earn bonus points, okay? But basically each one of you will write 4 lab reports throughout the whole semester, and that's all. And we don't have finals. Okay, course plans. So this first week we will have we'll take it easy, a little introduction. I'll explain how the course work and our agendas, and I will show you how to set up the lab, and you can get yourself familiarized with all the equipments and set it up. From the next week, we will be doing regular labs, and that will be for 14 weeks. On the last week, which is the final week of the semester, we don't have finals, but we do have a bonus lab session. It's optional. If you want to come, that's great, and you can earn a bonus credit of 5 points by just participating the bonus session. But if you are too stressed about your finals from other courses, that's okay. You can focus on that too, right? So it's optional. So here I list down all the regular lab sessions. I don't take attendance for this course. So in case you have something really important coming up, just send me an email and let me know that you will be absent for this coming session. And that's perfectly fine. And let your teammates know. You won't get points taken from being absent, okay? Because this is a graduate level course, so we want to treat everybody like adults. Yeah. All right. So we have 7 labs, 7 sessions for each lab. For quantum optics, we will be starting from the HBT experiment and do a bunch of single photon characterization, and at the very end, we'll do some application called quantum eraser. Okay, so that's more physics intense experiment. So by the time you get to lab 7A, all the setup have been installed and ready. But here, you need to take more time to think about the physics. While in previous labs, you are mostly busy working on setting it up. Okay? For quantum spin lab, because there's really not much to set up, it's mostly controlled by computers. I already set it up for you, optimize the signals and blah, 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 etc. So just to make your life easy, so that you can proceed quicker. Okay, so you'll be operating the software mostly, and the complexity of the experiments increase with time. Okay. All right, and the last one, bonus session, Deutsch-Joyce algorithm for quantum computing. That will be done in the quantum optics lab. And we have 2 tables, so that will maximally host 6 people. Okay? So I guess first come, first serve. You need to reserve your spot if you want to come. Okay. All right. I also note starts on some lab sessions. And that indicates that these sessions are difficult. Okay? Difficult to set up or difficult to understand, whichever. So they are difficult. And so just be mindful of that, because you need to pick a certain lab session to write your report, right? And no 2 reports can be written for the same lab session. So that means in your team, so say if you and me are a team, right? Then we need to discuss, okay, if you want to write a report for lab 1A, then I cannot write a report for lab 1A. I probably will have to pick lab 2A, or maybe it's too difficult, I don't want to write it, I can choose lab 3A. So like that. You need to collaborate and communicate with each other and decide what's the best for you and your teammate. Okay? All right. Teaching method. So we will not be using a whole lot of PowerPoints. We will use them sometimes when necessary, but most of the theory course will be conducted on the board. So board work, the classic way. And I will give the essential theoretical background for each experiment. Not for each experiment, but for the overall experiments. So the theory course will not be in perfect sync with the experiment. Understand? So for example, you're maybe on the first week, you're doing HBT, right? And my lecture will be on NV centers. You see, it's not related. My lecture will probably be on another lab, about another lab. Or even in the same lab, maybe you are already in a GRA experiment, but I am still talking about HBT, the concept of HBT, right? So the theory course is not meant for, how do you say? It's not meant for give you an a detailed understanding of the course. It is a means to provide you the background information when you need to write reports. Okay. So yeah, that's the best I can do, because here in this course we cover too many materials, and it's really hard to have the theory in sync with the experiments. So I will do the best I can to do the theory so that you can understand your experiment by the time you do it, but no guarantees. Second, data analysis and interpretation of experimental results are critical in learning quantum physics. All right, so in a lot of lab course you have taken in the past, mostly people just give you a hangout, right? And you have the data you're supposed to take and what it's supposed to look like on the sheet, and then you kind of just try to reproduce what's here, right? In this course, it will not be done that way. Quantum mechanics, quantum physics, many learn through struggles. Okay, if you want to learn it, you need to struggle with it, because it is so much outside of our daily experience. So you really need to put effort into it, to feel it, to think about it, to be puzzled, be confused. Like, you need to go through that process in order to really learn quantum physics. Okay, I don't assume any background from you guys. In principle, you can be a first-year college man and still take this course, and that'll be perfectly fine, because I'm covering all the necessary knowledge here. But to really get it, to really understand what's going on, instead of just being a robot taking data, you need to struggle with it. Okay, so that will be part of this, the training of this course. And in addition, we will also try to emphasize academic writing and scientific communication. And that is because this is a graduate level course. And if you're a senior in college, that's great, because this will prepare you for grad school. You'll have a much easier time in grad school if you do well here. In grad school, I don't think there's seldomly there will be anyone sitting next to you and check out your writing and help you improve, right? That's what we will do here. For each of your writing report, I will try to give comments on so for each grading criteria, which we will review in a second, so that you will know like where you do good and where you do wrong, bad, and you can improve. So this is an opportunity for you to practice academic writing. And I will also provide you with the LaTeX template to use. So most of the tools that we will use in this course will be provided. You don't have to study the tools. You just need to learn how to use it. Okay. And scientific communication. So like I said at the beginning, we will be using English only, English only in this course. So I expect you to speak with me and communicate with me in English, even in email, in writings, all in English, please. Of course, I'm a native here, so I understand Chinese perfectly. But for the sake of this course, that's all agreed that we will use only English. And if possible, please also speak to each other in English. And I will not force you to do that. I understand that sometimes it might be awkward to speak to a Chinese speaker in English, and that's uncomfortable. But hey, this is a good chance to practice your scientific communication. When you graduate from here, who knows what your next step will be. But suppose it's in the science park, right? There will be a lot of opportunity for you to talk to your clients, sorry, not climates, clients from another country, okay? And so you can either do it, practice and learn how to do it properly now here, or you can learn it in your workspace, which will make you, you will have more price to pay if you learn it there, yeah? Okay, that's pretty much it. So scientific training and theories, good. Lab reports. All right, so I have a certain lab report format I would like everybody to follow. And this format is also in the template I will provide. So if you can just use the template I give you, then you should be fine. You should be fine, okay? A lab report will contain 6 sections. The first one is, of course, the abstract. Abstract explain the basic idea of this lab. And the second one is introduction. And in the introduction, you explain the concept, okay? Pretty much the theoretical background, like why people do this, why this is important. And it could include figures or equations, your call. But basically, it gives some background information about this lab. And on the third section, results, you present your figures, you present your experimental result data in terms of figures or tables. Finally, discussion. In the discussion session, you give your opinions and what you think and how you interpret the experimental result, right? For example, on the lab menu, you might expect to see a spectrum that looks like this. But your spectrum looks like this for some reason. It's not symmetrical, and it's much narrower, right? It does not mean that you have done something wrong. Maybe the experiment, maybe the data is what it is. Maybe this is meaningful, I don't know. So just like when we do research, there's no standard answer for our experiment. The experimental outcomes are sometimes unpredictable, right? So after presenting your data on section 3 and give a description of the main result and the features, on section 4, discussion, you will give your personal take or your interpretation, your explanation of certain experimental features. Yeah, so that's what discussion is for. And conclusion is you summarized, what you learned from this lab, and the reference is whatever thing that you quote in the introduction, you give here. Yeah, so that's the structure of the lab report. Okay, evaluations. Okay, I think a lot of people are stressed about their grades when they decide to take a course. I can guarantee you that in this course, if you put in efforts, you will get rewarded. Okay, in some courses, you put in a lot of effort, a lot of time, you study and study, but the exam doesn't turn out to be as you want. And all your efforts and your time are kind of wasted. It does not reflect on your grade. Not in this course. I am a believer of hard work. You put in hard work, you will be rewarded, period. Yeah, if you don't put in hard work, you will not be, there will be no score for you also, okay? So, so your lab report will be evaluated based on the 5 criteria. First, comprehension. Second, clarity. Third, readability. 4, completeness. And 5, graphic illustration. Comprehension means, do you really understand what you're doing? Does your report reflect that you understand what you're doing, or are you just going through the flow and then taking data and then plotting and try to write up a report that doesn't make sense, okay? After reading through your report, I can get a sense of your comprehension of this lab. And that's what the first criteria is, okay? Look, notice that each criteria is scored at the 5-point scale. So together they will consist of 25 points for your final grade, okay? So that means if you don't understand your experiment at all, you really don't understand what you're doing, and you just try to write up a report the best you can, okay? The minimum score you will get is 1. You will not lose too much, right? You can still score above 20, even if you don't understand what's going on. Isn't that great? So I designed this way. Okay, if you put in hard work to give good clarity and readability to the paper, right? You can score high in other session, in other criterias. Yeah. All right. So don't be super stressed about grades because ton equal to grade. Okay, clarity is the logic flow. How you present your figures, how you discuss them, how you explain the theoretical concept of it, the logic flow. Does it make sense for the reader to read when they read through your report? Does it make sense, or is it very scattered here and there information, and this is not connected with that? There's really no link. Yeah, so that's the logic flow. That's clarity. Readability is English adequacy. English adequacy means how good you write. How good is your written English? Okay. I think everyone can improve their writing by just writing it many times. You might not get it at the first try, but if you revise your report 2 or 3 times, it will get better as each iteration. And that's what I do with my research papers. For each research paper, I revise at least 10 times. Okay? So when you put in effort, the English readability will increase, no doubt. And completeness is lab. So for each lab, we have the main objective. This is for quantum optics, it is kind of clear. It's only 1 or 2 objectives. But for the quantum spin lab, we have multiple objectives. Sometimes we have even 5 objectives. Okay, so if you manage to finish all 5, then you will get a perfect score here. Okay, your data doesn't even need to be pretty. As long as you present your data that show the evidence that you have put in time to do this objective, and this is what you get. Okay, and you try to do the best job you can to take sensible data, then you can score perfect on this category. Graphic illustration. So that means how your paper look, the appearance of your paper. Is it pleasant to look at? Sometimes people use really small fonts, and you can barely read it on the figures. Like on the figure, you have, remember? So on the figure, sometimes we have labels. So label means like acceleration, and this is maybe signal. Okay. Sometimes people just use really small fonts, font size, and it's super difficult to read. Okay, so if you take care of this, so appropriate font size, your caption, the caption is a description for a figure. So in the caption, you describe the main main feature on your data that you have observed. Okay, so you point them out one by one. Okay, and sometimes you need to draw a little drawing of your experimental setup. It's not required, but sometimes it will be helpful for your logic to just have a little thing. So, for example, in the optics lab, we have something like this. Okay, so this is the laser. Pretty simple, right? So you can draw a sketch like this with PowerPoint. And And depending on the details of your sketch, that determine the quality of your data, your presentation. Okay, so that's graphic illustration. All right, so each criteria will be graded according to this 5-point scale. Fair means fair. If I understand it, if it's not outstanding, but it's understandable, it's fair. If I cannot understand it, then it's poor. Okay? And if I feel like, wow, this is understandable and done with some good effort, then it's good. If I feel like this is absolutely outstanding, then it's excellent. Okay. The reason I give you the 3 papers that you all have in your hand. These 3 papers are from American Journal of Physics, and this is by most an educational journal. So the audience is college teachers, high school teachers, college students. So they are written in a very clear and comprehensive way, and it's not super long. So it's a really nice read. Whatever you see there, that represent the full score on each criteria. Comprehension, clarity, readability, completeness, graphic illustration. Okay? So that is an example of a full score, 25 point. Study it. I will recommend that you at least read through all of them because they are relevant to the quantum spin lab anyway. Read through all of them and see how people write. Learn to write like that. Then you will do fine with your lab report. Okay, so here I said also that so under the 5-point scale, I said the provide AJP papers on eLearn. So we will have all. By the way, there is this website called eLearn. Do everybody have access to that? Yes. You know how to use it?
Is it the same as eClass?
eClass? What is eClass? Never heard of it.
Then I don't have access.
Okay, then you probably will need some help from your teammate. Yeah, to maybe like, it's easy to log in. You just use your university account, but you need to know the correct website address. Yeah, but search for eLearn. eLearn. NTHU. So that will be all where I put all the teaching materials, everything. Will be here. So this is like a database. And also your score will be shown here. So you can check your score for your lab reports here. Okay. All right. I want to emphasize that copy and pasting materials from the lab manual, whether it is text or graphics, are not acceptable. Okay, so I'd rather you do a very simple PowerPoint sketch, and that is your own, you created, than you copy paste some fancy diagrams from another source or even the lab menu. Okay. That kind of practice is not acceptable. It's not acceptable in academia. It's called plagiarism. You know that word?
What did you say?
Copy and pasting other people's work to and present as your own. That's called plagiarism. Plagiarism. Oh, yeah, it's called plagiarism. So we wanted to have good practice. Okay. Okay. So that's something to avoid. Each student only handing 4 reports. It is unnecessary. No, it is unnecessary to write a report for each lab. You have 16 labs in total, and if your team has only 2 persons, so we have like 1, 2, 3. So we will likely have 3 groups, and with one group will have 3 persons, and the other 2 groups will have 2 persons. Okay, so say if you, in your group, say if you 3 are in the same group, there are 16 labs, 14 labs, yeah, 14 labs, right? Then you pick 4, you pick 4, you pick 4, that's how many? 12, right? So we still have 4 left. That means you don't have to write report for some of the labs, for at least 4. For 2 people, you only need, like if you are if you two are one group, you only need to write a total of 8 reports out of 14 lab. So 6 lab you will not need to write report for it, okay? So just understand this is how we play the game, okay? Report submission deadline, this is very important. 2 weeks after the corresponding lab session, Wednesday, 2 p.m. The overdue penalty is 1 point off per 24 hours past deadline. Deadline extension up to 4 weeks can only be requested for Lab 2A, Lab 6A, Lab 7A, and Lab 4B by sending an email to the instructor before the regular report deadline. Okay? I read every word I write here because it's important. Okay, I want you to know that we take this lab report very seriously because it's your direct final grade, right? And we will not be doing any scaling at the end of the semester. Okay, so you score whatever you scored. Okay, but say this is what this means. So if I say I on what?
When should we do the decision?
Decision on
Selecting topics to do report.
You don't need to tell me.
I see.
Yeah, you decide for yourself.
So if we pass the deadline for this report, we could just skip it.
Yeah. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, let me just give an example. Lab 2A. Okay, what's the time for doing Lab 2A? September 18, right? September 18 we'll be doing Lab 2A. Okay, so if I plan to write a report for Lab 2A, then I better start writing on the 19th, okay? And I have all the time in the world until October 10th, 2 p.m. That's my deadline. Okay, got it? So this day is where you do the experiment. You take data. And this is the time you can use to write your report. If you pass this deadline, 2 p.m., then there will be delay penalties, and that's 1 point for each 24 hours. So it's like parkings. You pay $100 for each hour, even if only exceed the limit by like 10 minutes, you still pay for a full hour rate. Okay, that's how it works. Okay, so say if you submit your report at 4 p.m., how many points do you get off? 1. If you submit it by 11 p.m., how many points do you get off? Still 1. Okay. So, but on the next, but if you, so even if you submit the report by the next day 1 p.m., you still get 1 point off. You see that's how this works. So 1 point off for every 24 hours. But so say if you submit it 2:10 p.m., then the total penalty will be 2 points. You got it? Okay. So I hope this is clear. And yes, some labs are more difficult than the others. I understand that, I acknowledge that. So that's why we have this deadline extension mechanism, but that is not automatic. You need to submit a request to me. Okay? If you feel like, oh, maybe I feel like lab 2A, I thought I could do it in 2 weeks, but it turns out I have too many things to do this 2 weeks, and it is more difficult to write. It's a report more difficult to write than I thought. Well, you know what? I'm gonna just send out an email to Dr. Huang, send an email. We probably need to replace this one. Send an email to Dr. Huang. Hi, Dr. Huang. Can I please request a deadline extension for lab 2A until which day? What's the maximum allowed extension?
Just 4 weeks.
4 weeks. Okay. So if this is 2 weeks, right? Then your maximum one will be okay. And this is also 2 p.m. right? So another 2 weeks. Okay, so write me an email like this. Thanks. Just in case some of you don't use email very much. Thank you. Thanks. Your name. Okay, this is how you write an email. Yeah? And put on the subject line deadline extension for lab 2A. Okay. Okay, I'm not trying to be funny here. Some people don't know how to write emails. They write their content on the subject line, and they will just start with blah, 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 without addressing the other person. That's unpolite. That's not polite, right? So this is how you write an email. I give you a template. Use it. All right, so you need to, so before this time, before the regular deadline, send me an email so that I know that for this one, I will mark on my note that this report from you, I will expect it on this time. Now, if by this time you decide, man, I still cannot manage to finish it, okay? What do? You have two options. One is you bite the bullet and then you just take the penalties, 1 point per day. Or you just drop this report if you want, and that's fine too, okay? Even if you told me that you want to extend the deadline for this report, but you didn't manage to finish it, that's okay with me, okay? I only care about what you submitted to me and when it was submitted, and whether it is within the deadline window, okay? That's the only thing I care about. All right, great. So that's all. Bonus credits. Fun. So completion of a bonus objective, 1 point on the corresponding lab report. Okay? So that does not mean your lab report can only max to 25 points. So suppose you do all the bonus objective and you earn 5 points, and then so say your report without the bonus thing is 20, and you present data for bonus objective for 6 bonus objective, or 7. So that's 7, right? So your total score for this report will be 27. It can exceed the regular 25 point. You understand? Okay. So that's one. That's first way to earn bonus credit. Second, attendance to the bonus lab session. So that's 5 points straight. Could you please turn the AC down by 1 degree? I'm sweating. All right. Third, there is this very nice material online published by American Physics Society in honor of the International Year of Quantum. So that's this year, 2025. So there's this a short paper, like a short commentary. I've given there. So you just type physics review letter. You just type this on the internet, you'll find this paper. Read it, and also read through the material on the web page where I have given the web address. Just type it. Then you will see a lot of material. So it gives an account of how quantum mechanics is developed from the 1900. And it's a marvelous journey. And I have 2 students from my last semester write this bonus report, and I really enjoy reading through the materials. So if you submit to me an essay, 1 to 2 page essay of your own reflection after reading this, of course, using the same lab report template, then you will get 5 points. It doesn't matter what you write. You're not graded based on what your content. You are graded based on your effort. When you do this, you get 5 points. Yeah? So the last thing is collaboration in regular lab session. Okay, so collaboration. So in this course, we want to do every experiment in a collaborative way. That means I don't want to see one person working so hard and standing for like 8 hours straight on an experiment, and the other person just playing on his phone. I want to see that, okay? But I cannot force you not to do that. So instead, I encourage you by giving you bonus credit to work in the collaborative way, okay? So what does it mean by collaboration? Okay, I explained it next. In a regular lab session, each student should take one of these roles: writer, analyzer, experimenter, okay? 3 roles. So because each group is supposed to have 3 people, right? But if we don't have enough people, then we will just have 2 people. Then one person will be writer/analyzer, and the other person will be experimenter, okay? So it's like a how do you say, a role play game, okay? So you have your role, and then you have to pretend to be that person, like a customer, and the other person is a gelato shop in the, like a salesperson from the gelato shop, and then so you play. It's like a role play. It's like a role play. So basically, the writer will not have his hand on the experiment. The writer's job is to oversee the lab session. He's the boss, basically. He is the boss of this particular lab session. He needs to make sure that we are achieving our objective and the data quality that we took is good enough, because he is the person who will be responsible of writing a report for this lab. Okay, so if you decide that you're gonna write a report for lab 2A, then you will have to be the writer for lab 2A. Yes? And the analyzer is responsible for collecting and organizing data. So sometimes, like for example, in quantum spin lab, we have an exhaustive list of data to take. It takes just so long to collect all of them and organize them in a sensible way. That's the analyzer's job. He just makes sure that everything is collected and organized in a sensible manner. The experimenter is responsible for operating the experiment and making alignments. So if you're taking data and then it doesn't really make sense, maybe something is wrong, some hardware problem is involved, the experimenter is supposed to talk to the TA and figure out what's the problem. Like he is the man who is supposed to fix the machine and make it run, okay? So that's what the experimenter do, all right? And when you talk to the TA, I would prefer you to use English. But in some cases, your problems are probably too difficult to describe, or you cannot describe it in a sensible way. We're not doing the English class here. So you can still use Chinese to communicate if English doesn't work, yeah? But I would prefer you to use English whenever you can, all right? Okay, all right, last thing, this is also important. No use of AI or AI-assisted writing or whatever AI. Don't use it. It's prohibited in this course. If you do it and you were found, there will be penalty points on your final grade. I have not decided how much is that, but because it has not happened, but I would just encourage you not to try that. The reason why I prohibit the use of AI in this course is because I want to train you on your academic skills, okay? When you have that skill, when you know how to write, then you can use AI writing however you want, right? But you need to learn how to write first. If you don't know how to write and you use AI to write for you, then that's like having another person doing the lab report for you, yes? So it's not assisting you. The AI is not assisting your work. The AI is doing the work for you. Then the report you write is not your report. It's somebody else's report. It's the AI's report, okay? And you are not learning anything through this process, okay? So once you get a hand of academic writing and you get a hand of data analysis, like you know how to do things, you really learn the skill already, then you can use AI as an assistant if you preferred. But during our training in this course, AI use is prohibited, even in data analysis, okay? If you don't know how to use MATLAB, you can ask me. You can ask the TA, okay? And we will show you what's the quickest way to learn, okay? Let's just pretend we are still living in the era before AI was invented, okay? And dropout policy. So no dropping out will be allowed after September 18. So we'll have two, so not including this one, we'll have 2 lab sessions before September 18. And that's your last chance to drop out this course if you feel like this is not fit for you. And that's perfectly fine. Quantum mechanics is not for everyone. Quantum physics is not for everyone. Quantum optics is not for everyone. Yeah. If you feel interested enough to stay, that's great. We will work together and I will train you through this course to catch the quantum animals and see their wonders. But if you feel like this isn't really enough for me, then feel free to drop out before this date. But after that, if you decide to stay, then you're committed to this course, okay? And you better go through with it. Yeah. So some people after their midterm, they will survey how many courses they have, and they'll pick a few of them which they are not doing so well, and they just drop those courses. That will not happen for this one. You either decide to drop it now or you don't drop it. Okay? Okay. So that's all. At the very end, I list a few references that are perhaps helpful to you if you have never read anything quantum. The first 2 especially are very useful material. They are written at an introductory level, easy to read. I like both authors. So 1, 2, and 4, I highly recommend. And 3 and 5, you only use it as a tool, and you use it whenever necessary, okay? This is not English class, so you don't need to speak perfect English. You need to speak English that can communicate, the other person can understand. You can just feel free to speak with an accent. feel free to speak with the wrong vocabulary. Even me, I stutter sometimes. I stop and try to change to another word. That's okay. We are using English as a tool for science communication. We're not here for a speech contest, right? So don't be shy. Just try to use it. Practice. Practice scientific communication through English. All right. So I hope that we have covered pretty much everything. So regularly, we will have the theory course first. So I'm point 4. So typically, we will have a theory course first, and maximum 1.5 hour. So I will try to stay within 1.5 hour. And then we will have a lab session. And the lab session, we will try to limit it within 4.5 hours. That does not mean you have to stay until for that long, okay? I'm just saying that this is the maximum, okay? So because officially this course is from 2:20 to 6:20. So students can leave at 6:30 if you need to, if you want to, okay? If you come, then don't leave until 6:30, or you don't come at all, yeah? You can be late, that's okay. But don't leave before 6:30. And if you want to stay longer to do your data, to collect your data, to do more exploration, that's fine, you can do that. But the TA will have to leave by 7:30. So you will have help from TA up to 7:30, and then you're on your own, okay? So 1.5 plus 4.5 is 6, okay? So that means by 8:30, everybody should be out from the lab. And if you cannot finish, it's okay. Let the TA just write me an email, CC the TA, or write the TA an email and CC me, and the TA will, if you want to finish your experiment, you can do that on another day. That's fine, as long as it's before the next lab session, right? So from Thursday to Thursday, you have weekend, you have 3 days plus 3, you have 4 days plus the weekend. Just coordinate with TA and see when he's available to open door for you. And you can just stay there to finish your experiment. But on the day of the course, that's all get out by 8:30. Yeah? And I will not stick with you through your whole the course of your experiment. I will come in from time to time to check on you and to ask if you have questions, and to troubleshoot your experiment with you, to explain things with you. Okay, I'll check on you from time to time, but I will not be there constantly. The TA will be there constantly, so you can get help from him anytime. Yeah. And I normally stay. I think I normally stay until 8:30. So just in case of emergency, you can come to my office and knock on my door and tell me what's going on. Yeah. Maybe you smell smoke coming out from the computer, or the laser is shutting off. It's not on anymore, right? So if you see an emergency, you can come and get me, right? Otherwise, when you finish, you can just lock the door and leave. Yeah. Cool. That's all the administrative thing. Okay, great. Let's do something first, and then we will have a little lecture, so that we learn something today. Okay, so okay, I want people to get in 3 lines. Okay. So we have, so as you see in the syllabus that we have 2 labs. And okay. So as you see, there are two tracks, right? And you start with one of them, either the quantum optics lab or the quantum spin lab, and you do that for 7 weeks straight, and then you switch to another lab. Yeah. So what do you want to do first? Yes. So the question is, what do you want to do first? Quantum optics or quantum spin, or you have no preference? You're fine with either. Okay. I want everybody to get up and think for yourself, and talk to each other, and decide what you want to do first, and get in a line.
How do we know what to pick if we don't even know what those are?
What do you mean, don't know what those are? It is written here.
Based on the topic, right?
Yeah, based on the topic, yes.
All right.
You can get a feel of the content of the lab, right? Oh, HBT experiment. So interesting. GRA, intriguing. Malose. Oh, that has a good sound to it. Oh, I'm gonna pick this one. Yeah. All right. So study the syllabus a little bit, and then talk to each other. I'll give you 5 minutes, and then you'll decide. All right. And let me go grab a drink. Are we ready to pick? If ready, stand up and walk to your aisle. All right. No preference. No preference? Okay. Brave man. Okay. All right. So you have 4. There are 4 quantum optics. Cool. I guess if you don't have preference, then you'll join the quantum spin. Then that will be easy. All right, so you guys will be one group. Okay, please sit here. Now, you guys, I prepare a deck of cards. All right, and I want to have everybody pick one because we're gonna decide who's gonna pair with whom, right? And then let's say the biggest card and the smallest card is together.
Okay.
Okay? All right. It's a random quantum random generator. All right, so you're 4, 9, 10, and 2. All right, so I guess you two are gonna be together. Okay, all right. Please sit back. Okay, cars, yes.
But we're all doing the same experiment.
Right, on a different table. There are two sets. Yeah.
But are we not doing the same experiments the same week? All the groups?
The quantum speed lab have, let me explain. Please have a seat with your teammate. All right, so who can tell me what we are gonna do? So next Thursday is September 11th, right? Can you tell me which lab you will be doing?
So are we doing that 1B?
Yes. Lab 1B. The spin group will do lab 1B. The optics group, which lab will you do?
1A.
Yes, lab 1A. Which lab will you do? Yes, also lab 1A. So there are two groups in optics, 1A, right? All right. So you, on the second week, it's the same. Lab 2B, lab 2A, and lab 2A, right? All the way until the last one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. The last one is this. So this is lab 7B, lab 7A, lab 7A. Yep. On this day, we will switch. And there will be two groups doing lab 1B. And one group doing lab 1A. Understand? So this is how it's going to work. All right. Now we're going to give names to the groups. All right. We're going to use the most famous, we're going to name the group after the most famous people in the history of quantum information science. Do you have a guess who that is? Eh.
No.
Ooh. Another guess. Feynman? Another guess.
We don't know anyone else.
Huh? Heisenberg, sure. Okay. No. Not right. It's Alice. And Bob. And Charlie. And their little friend Eve. Hidden, mostly. Okay, they appear in almost all scientific journals. Their names are on all scientific papers on the topic of quantum information. So we are gonna name our group after these three guys, okay? So you will be group Alice, you'll be group Bob, and you'll be group Charlie. Yep? All right, so Alice, Bob, and Charlie. Do I spell this right?
L-I-E.
L-I-E. Charlie. Correct? Great. All right. Thank you very much. Then do me a favor, write your name on each group. And then we will be done. We're done, pretty much.
Is that correct? Is that pronounced?
ing. Ting. Yeah.
Good. Okay, great, awesome. Perfect, I like it. Okay, now we all belong to a group. We have a home. Let's keep that. This is lovely. All right, so now 10 minutes for a little lecture. So we all feel like we learned something today. It's not a complete waste of time. Right? I mean, if you decide not to take this course after 2 weeks, you still learn something. Okay, so what we're going to talk about is particle wave duality. Particle wave duality. So particle wave duality. Okay. Duality means a double identity, like a double agent. Yeah? You know what double agent is? Have you ever watched Mission Impossible? Yeah, there are many double agents in that movie. So if I am a double agent, then I could be working for country A and collecting information in country B. At the same time, I'm also an agent of country B and collecting information in country A, right? So a double identity. That's the best example I can find for duality. All right, but wave-particle duality, that's nothing to do. It has nothing to do with double agent. This is the essential concept in quantum mechanics. This is what distinguishes quantum mechanics from classical mechanics. Wave-particle duality. Yeah. So let's talk about matter first. So what does wave-particle duality mean for matter? What is matter? Electrons, protons, atoms, molecules, nanoparticles, tennis ball, baseball, rocket. Oh, no, rocket is not really a particle because it's not round. A bowling ball, they are all particles in different sizes. Yeah? So matters is something that has mass. What does particle wave duality means for matter? Okay, first of all, the particle nature, the particle side of matter is the classical aspect. The classical aspect of matter is particle. That means this particle just move like a ping pong ball from here to there under influence of force or wind or whatever. And at any given time, it has a very precise energy. It has a very precise location. It has a very precise velocity. Everything you know about, everything you can know about this particle, E, Vx, Vy, Vz, X, Y, Z, have only a single value at any given time. Single value. So whatever characteristic it has only single value at any given time, at any time. So that's a particle. That's a particle behavior. Yes? And of course, it's countable. It's distinguishable. The quantum aspect of matter is wave. Okay? So, for example, in an electron double slit experiment, which you are all familiar with or heard of, you have two very tiny slits. In practice, they could be, this is at the order of 100 nanometer. And the spacing is also a few nanometers, say 200 nanometer. Okay? And here you have an electron gun. It's basically mostly a filament, just like a filament in your bubble. No, sorry, not bubble. In your light bulb, a piece of metal. You heat it up. You run current through it. It gets really hot, and you will emit electron, right? So most of the time we generate electron through heating a piece of filaments. Okay, so heat with a current source. Spray out electrons. When electrons get to a double slit structure like this, what we have seen in the experiment is not, we're not seeing two bumps. No, this is not what we see. If they are just strictly ping pong balls, then this is what you will see, right? When you throw tennis ball through two doors with a machine, right? You do it for like an hour. At the after the door, you will find all the tennis ball land on two areas, two groups. Okay. You will not find anything here. Yes. Even with the Boltzmann distribution, you won't find even a single ball in the center when this is blocked, when the side of view is blocked. Yeah? But in the experiment that people have done in the early, maybe 50s, people found that this is what they observed. A very wiggly pattern. And people were astonished. What is this? They have not expected to see this kind of pattern for something as hard and small as electrons. They have seen this in acoustic experiments. They have seen this in water experiments, right? They have seen this even in optics experiment, but never in an experiment that shoots with a source of a particle, a matter. Okay, so this non-locality, okay, or you could say superposition of being in the different places at the same time and the interference of all the possibility, blah, 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 that is a property of wave. In an optics lab, you have laser beams shooting to different optical elements, right? And you can split them and then combine them. When they land on the same spot, they interfere each other, yeah. Or if you're on the pond, you can throw rocks from different sides, and then you will see the wave, the ripples. When they meet, they interfere with each other, right? So that kind of superposition is expected only for waves. And when a matter displays its quantum property, that means you will see what you will expect to see from the wave, okay? Okay? So that's what particle and wave duality for matter. On the other hand, for energy, such as light, for pure energy, pure, or let me just, I don't think there's such thing as non-pure energy. So I'm just gonna write energy. Energy. Energy means something that has no mass. Right? No mass. Yeah. For energy, the classical aspect, the classical face, the classical identity is wave. Okay, so if you see a wave in superposition and a wave that is interfering and making ripples, you're not super surprised. You're not astonished, right? Because that is just what it's supposed to do. That's its classical property. But its quantum property is particle. But when you have an experiment, see that the detector only click, not continuously, but only once in a while. You know, if you're doing some kind of correlation experiment and you see the detector only fires every once in a while, but not continuously. You know this is not a wave. Okay. So how like where do you see this kind of experiment? Well, you first have to. This is actually the content of HBT experiment, so I won't explain it here. But I'm just saying, let me just leave it here and say that when you have a pure energy, when you have energy and that is light, for example, and it displays some kind of particle property, the property you will be expect for only particles, then that is its quantum phase. Okay? Okay, so we just said that matter so what we're saying essentially is quantum means different for matter and for energy. For matter, quantum means it's behaving like a wave. For energy, quantum means it's behaving like a particle. Okay? And this is what we call particle wave duality. The classical site, the classical phase is particle, the classical quantum phase is wave, particle wave duality. And the same duality also exists for energy, except that this order is flipped. Okay, so that's the essence of quantum science. Everything that we have experienced, used, mostly in the region of classical, in the classical region, to attain the quantum region and see the quantum behavior is difficult. It's not so easy. I call them quantum animals, and we need to catch them. Okay, and that's what you do. What you will do in this course. We have 2 sets of experiments, and then you will try to catch the quantum site of pure energy. This is the quantum optics lab. So you will try to catch the quantum site of light, and which is the particle aspect. And in the quantum spin lab, you will make great effort to try to catch the wave side of this particle. And here it is done. It is much it's trickier to do it here than here. This is more straightforward. This is trickier to do because you need to make interference of particles, and that's not easy. All right, so anyway, we will learn how to do that as the course develops, okay? So I just want to give you a heads up, and this is what we'll be doing. And okay, I think we're ready to go to the lab.
I have one question.
Oh.
What do you mean the difference between classical and quantum? So do you mean that when we observe matter in the quantum scale, becomes like a wave and cease to exist as a particle, can we still observe properties of a particle?
Good question. Let me explain that. All right, so the question is, let me see if I can rephrase your question. Okay. So the question from Clement is, at the quantum scale, although we have not defined what is a quantum scale or classical scale, but at the quantum scale, we are expected to see the wave aspect of say electrons, right? But in the classical scale, does this wave aspect is this wave aspect still there? Just somehow hidden? Does it still exist, but just not accessible? Or is it completely gone? Is that your question?
Yeah, that's basically my question.
Okay, that's a good question. A lot of people are thinking about that for many, many, many decades. So this is the measurement problem, quantum measurement problem, okay? When we, even in a quantum experiment, right? When we make a measurement, immediately when we make a measurement, somehow the whole wave is gone, the probability wave is gone, and it all collapses into one particle, and then I can detect it here or there, okay? So this process of going from a wave to a particle, like how does that work? I can tell you honestly, nobody knows, even Feynman. Yeah, when Feynman said nobody understands quantum mechanics, that's what he means. We really know little about quantum mechanics, okay? We know how it works. We know what it will look like. We know how to manipulate them, but we don't know why they work this way. We don't know why. And that's why quantum information science is still an active area of research, okay? But let me just try to entertain your questions as the best I can. We don't call them scales because scale normally refer to time or position. Length scale, when we say scale, right? There are many scales. Length scale, we can have like a kilometer scale to millimeter scale to nanometer scale, right? So kilometer, millimeter to nanometer, right? Millimeter is where we live, right? Me and the table, we are 2 millimeters apart. We are not 2 kilometers apart, okay? So this is a natural length scale between in where we live. This is the scale we live at. Kilometer scale is more like continent, right? From one city to another city to the others, they are kilometers apart, okay? Length scale, time. We have time, have years. We have hours. We have milliseconds. We have autoseconds. Oh, sorry, not autoseconds, femtoseconds. Okay. Different things, different dynamics happen at different lengths and time scale. And we mostly do our thing in the meter scale and the hour scale. Okay. But for a mouse, they probably do more things at centimeter scale and millisecond scale. That's for a mouse, okay? For an atom will do things in the nanoscale and the femtosecond scale, the dynamics, okay? So we usually use scales to describe dynamics, okay? Whether the scale is like the space and the time stage, and this dynamics is like a play, right? So you set up the correct stage and then you have a play there. Okay, so for classical and quantum, we don't call them scale because they are not, they cannot be attained by just going to a certain length scale or time scale. It doesn't happen that way. We call them regime. Quantum regime and classical regime. Regime means in a sense it's more like in a sense, it's more like a phase. Okay, so like water. When water is in the low temperature, it becomes ice, right? So the low temperature region is an ice, and the high temperature region is gas. So you have different phases. So you can pretty much, in a not so wrong way, say the same thing about quantum. In a certain region, this has its quantum phase. It looks quantum. And in another region, it looks classical, but only one phase at a time. And of course, there is a region where you do the transition. Just like water, when you go from ice to gas, there's a special region where you exist both in the form of ice and gas, right? So this transition region is in terms of the quantum language, we call it partial coherence. So here we will see a little bit of particle, and we see a little bit of wave. It's a mixed bag, and it's quite complicated. In the full quantum region, we see full coherence. You don't have particle property at all. You don't see it. You don't see it in your experiment. It's not there. In the particle region, in the classical region, we have incoherence. Incoherent is incoherent, or incoherence, or no coherence, whatever. Okay? Here you don't see the wave aspect at all. Okay? So mostly in our daily life, we are experiencing everything here, incoherence, the classical world as we experience it. But if we do a good job in the lab, we can enter into this partial coherence region where classical and quantum are kind of mixed. And there we can get a glimpse of the quantum nature of matter, for example, or quantum nature of energy. Yeah? This is super hard to attain experimentally, full coherence. This is like the full glory of quantum mechanics. See pure energy, and it's so powerful, okay? So this you only see in the movie. Yeah? All right, so this is a continuous scale, by the way. The transition is a continuous scale. Yeah, so you approach, you either get you approach to the full coherence, or so there is this full coherence site, and there is this incoherent site, and you try to approach the full coherence site as much as possible to get your quantum property out and use it for something useful, like a quantum enhanced metrology or communication, right? So that's the essence of quantum technology. Try to get some extra functionalities because of this quantum aspect. In order to do that, you need to approach the full coherence region as much as possible. Okay? Yeah.
I have a trouble understanding this coherence.
Yeah.
Could you explain more, like what does it mean, incoherence?
Yeah.
Coherence
Yeah, that's a good question. We will not talk about this term in depth here, but it will come later. Coherence is a central concept in quantum mechanics. And it's basically a term that is invented as an indicator for how much quantum you are. That's all. Okay? On the textbook, it will tell you coherence. You have first order coherence, second order coherence, high order coherence, and each order of coherence do different things, and blah, 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 blah. And you can measure first order coherence this way, second order coherence that way, blah, 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 blah. But at the end of the day, it is basically some kind of indicator to tell you how much you are from quantum. Okay? So it's like a meter. It's invented for quantum mechanics as an indicator. That's all. It's not a standalone. It's a make-up concept. Yeah.
Like the scale for.
Yeah, like a scale. Correct.
Meter, centimeter.
Yes. Correct. So if I could measure my quantumness with coins, okay? Or diamonds, okay? If I have a bag of diamonds, and I can measure my quantumness with diamonds, then how many diamonds I have in my pocket? That is the level of coherence I have. And with this amount of coherence, I can do this quantum thing and that quantum thing. But if I don't have my coherence coined, then I can do none of the quantum thing. I cannot do superposition magic. I cannot do entanglement magic. I cannot do interference. I cannot do any of those crazy things. Yeah? So coherence is the ability to be quantum, to do quantum. Yeah? Okay, so that's the qualitative description of coherence. All right. Later in this course, I will tell you more about the technical side of it. And it's really essential in the study of quantum optics. Okay? More questions? All right. If not, then we will move to the labs. Okay. 等一下. Yeah, can you stop it?